Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to this week's Star Report. There's Jason here, new dimensions, crystals, and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And today's report is for January the 1st, 2025 through January the 7th, 2025. And as usual, even in the new year, we're going to start off the same way we usually do with our closest star, since it's the Star Report. And the sun is been relatively active this week. There were a couple of CME, coronal mass ejection impacts that hit the Earth. They were small yesterday. And so you might have felt during your New Year's Eve celebrations the slight impact. Of course, they were so minor that even with the lowered electromagnetic shield, because of the currently ongoing pole shift, that there weren't a lot of aurora that made it too far south. So that's a good thing. So it was a slight impact. There are two large coronal holes on the Earth facing part of the sun, which are turning in towards direct view of us this morning or today. And coronal hole streams are those dark spots that you can sort of see to the interior of the sun when they are facing us. And when they sort of hit us, they have a plasma stream that comes with them. And usually that plasma stream causes compression in the earth. And so that'll move tectonic plates and stuff. And so earthquake watches go up during that. The magnetic lock happens almost immediately as it faces us, and then that plasma stream usually hits a couple of days later. So I believe those plasma streams are forecast to impact on Friday. So just sort of pay attention if you're feeling sluggish or feeling moving through quicksand or something like that. That is the energy that will be coming in on Friday from our sun. Other than that, the sunspots are diminishing in complexity and size. So therefore, the risk is going down for CME eruptions. So that's a good thing to hear as we move into the weekend. We are, of course, in the solar sign now of Capricorn, and that is going to be corresponding your physical body to your lower three vertebrae of the sacrum. So sometimes, there's spontaneous Kundalini awakening when that happens. A lot of times that's the contemplation stage, right? You want to think of a seed germinating as the energy that rises up through the spine. Sometimes is believed to originate from there. So it's kind of like you're mixing your soup, your stew, the ingredients in it during the winter time as that begins to rise back up into springtime. So just sort of pay attention if there's some tingling, sometimes even some pain in the lower back. That is the correspondence to Capricorn and the energy rising in your physical form. Cool. The blah, blah, blah. Welcome back, Jason. You've been gone a week. That leads us into the retrogrades. We had Chiron go direct last week. So that should give you an energy of heart expansion. So that leaves us currently with 1, 2, 3 retrogrades. Uranus is still in retrograde, I believe, till the end of the month. And that is really the building of a 3D self, right? So you sort of have this month to sort of all that introspection we did in 2024, how that's going to manifest into a 3D physical reality. How are you going to act upon the things that you discovered? Jupiter is still in retrograde. Jupiter really governs our self-worth, and a lot of times it has an effect on our abundance, right? So the expansion of things because of the size of the planet. And then, of course, Mars is in retrograde, and Mars is really about the manifestation of intentions, right? So intentions are important to pay attention to. Oh, that sounds a lot better. Intentions create your reality, right? What you think you're going to see is likely what you're going to get seen. So sort of take that into account as you sort of go into the new year and the expectations around January. And then just sort of know that like we're in the midst of a lot of cycles, right? We know that moving into the age of Aquarius hasn't been or Pluto into Aquarius. I think that's the thing. Anyway, the move into Aquarius is a transition that hasn't happened, or the alignments that haven't been the same since 1776, right? So you want to think about all of the energies of the American Revolution for sure, but just the shifts in the understandings, and then the I won't say crumbling of, but the removal of paramount power of certain things. So, sort of just keep that in mind as you sort of see institutional life shift, right? And realize that over the last 250 years, that with intention, some really nice things could be built in their stead, and that things are always changing. It's one of the laws of the universe that everything changes. So, just sort of use your intention to manifest that things are changing for the good, and that you have a participation in that. And the best thing that you can build for the good is your own self. So keep that in mind as we move into today, Wednesday, January the 1st, 2025. Yeah, I think that's all the retrogrades. Yeah. And today we are celebrating. It is an 11 Master Day. So that's a good thing, right? So it's an empowering day. It's also a 1-1 gateway day, right? The 1-1 gateway date. That is the opening of energetic portals based on the 1-1, the 2-2, the 3-3. And this gateway is really for you to sort of set your habits and set the tone of those habits, right? Not that it is a necessary thing because something is going wrong or bad, but like the habits that you want to build to create the life that you're looking for. And as we sort of said earlier, Chiron has gone direct. We've just had a new moon. It was the second new moon of December, which makes it the black new moon, right? So you're at this, I won't say 0 point, but you're at this restart point where the energies of the planet, the stars, and all the fun stuff is, what do you want to do now, right? So if you want to think about this after a black moon on this 11 Master Day energy, this 1-1 energy, when you switch on the light switch, which sometimes is just your vision, what would you like to have illuminated? And then that's the reality you want to work towards. Ooh, you want to work towards creating in 2025. And the thing to sort of pay attention to is you want to create the intentions for your year, not necessarily the expectations of somebody else in your life's year, or per se how you would like to see the society that you are existing in go, right? The biggest participation towards that is how you choose to be, no matter what that is, right? And carrying the intention that whatever is shifting and changing is for the good of the planet, because things always change. Fun times. Also, moving into today, we are moving from an 8 universal year, which was 2024, into a 9 universal year. In 2025, nines are the years of embodiments and completion. And you want to think about that as completions of cycles, right? Usually those are 9-year cycles: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you start all over it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 9 universal year is really about embodiment, accomplishment, and really applying what you discovered about the self in 2024. And the thing that you want to think about, and this is sort of gives you a macro look back, macro look back at the shifts that sort of happen. This cycle started in 2017, right? So January 2017. Take that for what you will, especially here in the United States, and just sort of see how what you believed or what you knew or what you thought you knew about the way society was structured, how it was powered, and who was running it, and your effect on that or your non-effect on that went over the last 9 years, and just sort of think about what would you like to have or see happen next. The energy of that embodiment is really an alignment of your inner thought, which you think is mind driven, is really going to be a union of soul And that idea that soul is sort of separate or quiet, or this intuition is something that you have to listen really hard to, it's going to become louder and more aligned with the energy of what's going on the planet. So I don't want to say that you're going to have specific guidance from that, but you're going to have clearer guidance on what you as an individual soul is here to do on the face of the planet. So that sounds like a really fun 2025. Moves us into tomorrow, Thursday, the 2nd of January. And the energy of Thursday is really going to be an alignment between the sun and Jupiter, which is going to illumine, light up your high power potential. And the energy is one of allowance, right? Um, a lot of times when you have an inner, like, oh, I don't want to do that, you start to cycle through all the reasons why you shouldn't listen to that inner voice. It's going to make people mad. It's too hard. I'm not prepared. All the things. That voice is really moving you in a direction which you can accomplish what it's asking you to do. So perhaps listen a little closer, act a little sooner, and not necessarily diminish anybody else's feelings while you do it, but don't let them be the reason that you ignore your soul. Uh, that would just a cause more harm than you think it would, and then b uh, it sort of sets a bad example. If you're not following your own inner guidance, how can anybody else? And I guess one of the things to sort of pay attention there on Thursday is that inner guidances don't have to coincide and sound and have the exact same lessons and instructions in them. So people might be on their own journey, and it's not necessarily, I should keep hearing that in your voice, yours to make them all align and make sense with each other. Leads into Friday, the 3rd, the quadrantids, meteor shower peaks. Um, and we know when meteor showers sort of peak, that's epiphanies, aha moments, revelations. Usually they're personal, sometimes, lots of times, they're dream world stuff, but just sort of the nature of the shifting of culture. Maybe those are also public epiphanies. And leads us into Saturday, the 4th of January, 2025. This is probably a day of more clarity, um, because the sun will be the closest to the earth all year. But this is really probably where that inner voice gets louder and almost sounds the same volume as a talking voice, or it could. It doesn't have to. If it doesn't, you're not doing it wrong. But that clarity and that loudness of your inner voice sometimes is disconcerting. You're not going crazy. So just keep that in mind on Saturday. Sunday, the 5th, it's really, I don't want to say persistence, but uh, the soul's not going to be ignored, right? So it's kind of like getting a hint. And until you act on that hint, you can't go to the next question. So it's going to be a reiteration, perhaps in intensity or emphasis, a more emphatic urging for you to follow the direction of your inner voice. Um, Sometimes it's a quick lesson where the way you want to go or the way that you'd like to go instead of where soul leads turns out poorly. So just sort of pay attention to that energy on Sunday. And you really want to discern or understand that inner voice, unless you're super special and super assailed by dark forces, blah, 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 all the things that could go wrong in the world and that people have a conspiracy theory about. Unless you were so super special that the inner voice is things leading you astray, 99.99% of the time, that voice is for you and for your good. So go ahead and pay attention to that. It's leading you in the right direction for the sake of yourself, for the sake of the world, and all that fun stuff. Monday the 6th, really you want to use that day to understand that where soul is leading is towards your purpose. If you don't already have one, if you haven't done tons of self development, like this is my purpose, right? It becomes more self evident that even if you've been working on your purpose, even if you've been living your purpose, even if you've been creating a job or a business around your purpose, that this is more of an alignment of that purpose really has a higher meaning. And you want to think about this as that it raises that purpose into a cosmic or a mystical understanding that it is above 3D. So just sort of pay attention to that energy on Monday. That sounds like a good way to start the week. Tuesday, the 7th, the moon is going to be halfway to full, which really is sort of that we will have our light and our shadows, right? And so this is really the melding of our inner and our outer, our light and our dark, what we considered our positive, what we feared others might consider our negative, those powers, right? It's kind of like a battery. Those things come together to create more power and create more light and more ease in the path forward. So look for that energy on Tuesday. And then, of course, that ends our week, but there's a couple updates for the rest of the month, just sort of as we go through uh, January. The 10th is an 11 Master Day again, and it's the last 11 Master Day until October. So if 11 is your number, pay attention to the 10th of January. The 13th and 14th is the first full moon and the full moon in Leo. So pay attention to that energy. Then the 15th and 16th, Mars will be closest to the Earth all year, right? And so Mars is in retrograde then. And that retrograde is really about setting intentions or creating your own reality through your intentions and acting upon that, right? Not just discovering purpose, but acting on that purpose. So pay attention on the 15th and 16th as Mars makes its closest approach all year to that energy. The 18th to 21st, you can look into the night sky and see 6 planets: Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. Uh, an easy phone app will help direct those if you don't already know their glow in your own sky. And that's the visionary understanding of that really is an activation. So get out at least one of those nights. Hopefully, it's not cloudy the entire time, and check that out. It's a psychic attunement for yourself. And then the 28th of January begin the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, and we know that's the 2.5 week period, 2 to 3 week period before Mercury retrograde, where it starts to question or bring up for examination, communications, travel issues, and stuff like that. And the 29th of January is the first new moon of 2025. New moons, restarts, silence, introspection, stuff like that. So the month begins with a bang and ends with deep contemplation of assessing all the meaning of these things and these shifts and these attunements that are going to happen. And of course, 1776 and then 2017 are the cycles we're working with as we begin this year. So sort of take in mind what kind of revolution are we having in the understanding of our culture, and then more personally as we go through the universal year number, and you can add your own universal combination with that, right? What does I think of a 4, what does a 4 have to do with the 9 year? You can look that up online, but just sort of that idea that this is a personal evolution. How have you been shifting since January of 2017? And then what has the cosmic or cultural shift highlighted in you over the last 9 years? Fun times. Thanks for being here. Good to be back. I might have said a little bit more, just sort of getting this off. Got a different mic that I was messing with this morning. I don't know if I like the sound of it. I like the position of it though. So there's that. We will be back in the shop tomorrow, Thursday, the 2nd. obviously we're not here. I mean, I'm here for New Year's Day, but we're not open for New Year's Day because people are doing New Year's stuff, or they had a long New Year's Eve night celebration and they're not out shopping. So if you've missed me and you need some supplies from the Metaphysical Shop, come by downtown Brenham and see us. NewDimensionsCrystals.com if you want to book an appointment. And until next week, everybody, got to find the button again. Until next week, everybody, many blessings.